A once great American city, Los Angeles, has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations, but these lawless riots only strengthen our resolve. I'm directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He loves that cap off. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're really doing it, guys. I think they're using this as their Reichstag burning moment.
Thank you very much. Do you have a question for Marco? Question for Marco?
California officials could face federal charges if they stand in the way of the deportation. Something that Nolan may have suggested.
If they stand in the way of law and order, yeah, they will face charges. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know. They might really go in for this. I don't know. It's such a waste of time to like argue with their framing because it's so obviously delusional. Like they so clearly want to have a gigantic George Floyd style protest to crack down on. They want like 1 million people in the streets so they can go, "Oh, we have no choice but to use the military." But in reality, they have terrifying. It looks very violent. Yeah, if it wasn't this, it would be another excuse. But they're clearly not, like, waiting, you know? My guess is, and remember, okay, listen, I'm not trying to make this like, oh, well, I said so or whatever. However, I do think it's worth pointing out, I argued a while ago that you could expect to see the worst of the Trump administration early because there's a limited length of time that he has before he's burned through his public support on his ability to handle immigration. His approval numbers on basically every metric have been dropping steadily, rebounding in some cases, but overall dropping since he became president. This happens to all presidents, but he started from the lowest position ever, and since then he's fallen quite quickly. So yeah, the downward trend has been significant. And as time goes on, like, it will be harder and harder to do something like, I don't know, justifying signing the Insurrection Act, justifying deploying the military to a city like Los Angeles. He needs to act now. Do you think he'll be more or less able to do this a year from now? Another year of a waning, flagging economy, you know, prices going up, unemployment, whatever, you know, things are just worse. There's a malaise. Everyone's sick of his shit, you know. It's been a year now of ICE raids every single time they get stuck up in the city because no one likes them and they're too incompetent. A year from now, the odds are worse for them. So they think, okay, let's do it now. It looks like they're doing it now. Right now, there are only a few members of the National Guard over here. Oh, change your camera angle. What about you? Nope, not that one. Here we go. There's only a few members of the National Guard here, but they're looking to deploy 2,000 in total, at minimum, and also possibly the Marines. There's only a few dozen National Guardsmen here. Do you have any idea how many 2,000 people is? 2,000 National Guardsmen is enough to occupy the United States. Wait, sorry, not the United States. Los Angeles. 2,000's a little shy of what you need to occupy the entire United States. It's enough to occupy a significant part of Los Angeles, though. That's for sure. And I still have questions that haven't been answered. Where are they going to sleep? Like, are they going to get a per diem? Is every soldier going to get a credit card and say, go find a hotel room? Are they going to be sleeping in parking lots? Are they going to be setting up military bases with like tents and camps and stuff? Because normally when the National Guardsmen are brought in, right, like they have a pre-existing arrangement that the federal government has brokered with local industry to try to secure them sleeping arrangements. Do you think Hegseth has succeeded in doing that? Do you think that within like the few days he's had at most to prepare for this, that he's like managed to find thousands of beds? I don't think so. I don't know, man. I feel like we're going to see some some Firefest shit. You're going to have National Guardsmen out in parking lots, blocking a few roads. I mean, if they're paying for hotel prices at the rate they'll be going for in Los Angeles, I don't know. They have tents, I think. I know, just don't you think it'd be a little bit destabilizing to have like 2,000 or however, I don't know if they bunk up like butt buddies, you know, the blowjob brothers, 2 people to a tent. 1,000 tents? Where? Parking lots? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, they're definitely trying for it. They are definitely trying for it. Aren't tent cities illegal in LA? That's how we win, brother. We galvanize LAPD against the National Guard, okay? LAPD walks up and they're like, excuse me, sir, you're gonna need to find somewhere else to sleep tonight. Like tapping their baton against the opening of the tent. They can set up on Skid Row. Honestly, 2K is not enough to occupy even a small city in LA County. All right, I feel like I may have poorly communicated the point. What I mean is 2,000 soldiers in the city are enough to have a meaningful material presence in a significant part of it. Like, you can't just, like, you don't see police out and about for the most part, right? You see a car every now and again. You don't see, like, oh, there's the police tent barracks that they've established in the middle of the interstate. What I'm talking about is visible, obvious occupation. You know, the memo that Trump signed has them here for 60 days? Up to 60 days. But at what point are the National Guard going to leave? This is what the protests look like right now. Like, what's you know, mission accomplished here? When there's not a single protester anywhere in the entirety of the 13 million people who live in Los Angeles County? Like, when do you declare victory here? The protests are never going to stop as long as there are National Guardsmen in an open encampment, yeah, in downtown Los Angeles. It's just not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe that's the point. That's the point. Yeah, but like, to what end? Are we overplaying with a bad hand? Are people dispersing? Looks like people are dispersing from the... Are they moving? Yeah, they're moving to the other protest? It doesn't look like they're being cleared out. I mean, there would be more tear gas. They want to justify a crackdown. Look, I understand what they're doing in the abstract here, okay? I understand it. And the rhetoric coming out from the right now is bloodthirsty as fuck, okay? Trump is literally like, okay, where's the Trump bit? What he said? Oh, god damn it. Where is it? It was Asin, or however the hell you pronounce this. Ah, there's too many. Which one?
Those protests spreading to other cities, Chicago, New York, for example, in the next few days?
We're going to be watching it very closely. And when they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military, which they do as a common thing. They get up to them this far away and then they start spitting in their face. That happens, they get hit very hard.
It's stupid. Like, it's a low IQ bit, right? But like, the obvious implication to this is like, you're going there looking for a fight. Like, this has nothing to do with okay, I'm saying shit that's obvious. What I mean to say is they are being open about the fact that civil unrest is not actually what they're there to quell. They're just there to look for a fight. Nobody talks like this unless they're looking for a fight. You have a friend, they're going to the bar. You know some people you don't like are going to be at the bar. They're like, hey, if anyone looks at me the wrong way, I'm going to f***ing punch him. Like, obviously this person is not prioritizing a calm evening at the bar. Like, the rhetoric, it's obvious, but they're being open with it. I don't know, man. I guess it just comes down to, like, to what extent the National Guard actually inflame tensions. Because they are better trained than the police, and certainly better trained than ICE. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there are two... Okay, this is kind of dumb. But I feel like there are two, like, best-case scenarios, and they're on the opposite sides of the horseshoe, right? One of them is that the military occupies LA, and there's just no protests because, like, nothing's happening. Like, everyone's just chilling. And then we get 60 days or so of dramatic video footage of just troops occupying Los Angeles. Just like weird freak authoritarian shit that unsettles everybody. No goal is accomplished. There's no big narrative about like a crackdown of evil immigrants or whatever. And the other one is that there is protesting and it's so widespread within Los Angeles and so like, you know, universal, right? Like it's across the city. It's from many different groups of people that there's not really any way to cordon it, right? I think either case potentially could be good. The worst case scenario, in my opinion, would be small, highly agitated protests from, you know, delinquents or young, angry people who are like throwing rocks at National Guardsmen, which is the worst middle ground, because if you're in a protest, you want it to be a big protest, and if you're up against National Guardsmen, you really don't want to throw rocks at them. I cannot stress this enough, okay? I promise you, it is not worth being told by your Twitter friends that you're not a pussy, okay? I promise you, like, just be the pussy. You don't need to throw rocks at the National Guardsmen. It wouldn't even hurt them. They've got helmets on that are supposed to take bullets, okay? You don't want to do this.
Do you foresee those protests spreading to other cities, Chicago, New York?
We just saw that bit.
California, are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection. No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
California.
Do you think if Democrats continue to side with illegal aliens over law enforcement, that they'll ever be able to win?
Mr. President, sir, why are the Democrats gay and cringe and they're like, love black people or something? Why are you based?
A national election again?
I love this guy. I think that is the great. Who are you with? Breitbart News. Great. It's a great group. Breitbart. Great group. I think that you're going to see some very strong law and order.
Great stuff.
CNN's Dana Bash suggesting that this wasn't a real riot in Los Angeles.
Is that what she said? Oh, I think it was a riot. I think it was very bad. It was covered really as a riot by...
Right. Oh, by the way, don't expect too much support from local officials. The Mayor Bass of Los Angeles was decrying the violence of the protesters last night because she's a bitch-ass pussy motherfucker. Honestly, the most consistent messaging has been from the Los Angeles Police Department, because they've more or less been on the same line the whole time, which is we denounce any violence, but also we're not assisting ICE with their civil immigration enforcement. And Gavin Newsom has been on the correct side of things. Not to give that man any credit, but my understanding is that his messaging, for the most part, has been pretty decent. 6 minutes ago, every single Democratic governor agrees Donald Trump's attempts to militarize California are an alarming abuse of power. He's tweeting through it. California, don't give Trump what he wants. Speak up, stay peaceful, stay calm. Do not use violence. Respect the law enforcement officers that are trying their best to keep the peace. Of course he would say this. Making fun of Trump. Making fun of Trump, saying that masks will not be allowed to be worn at protests. Trump doesn't really have the authority to make that decision.